Hey guys, welcome to Eastgate Unity. My name is Danielle. Today we're going to be checking out the LaCroix barrel. Let's get right into it. We have extra belts here, stickers, and bolts. Now this is the Hoyt Puck remote, which is used a lot with the DIY community. So this is a micro USB charger. Now this is a 5 amp hour charger. Here's a wire for the charger, thank you letter, scanner for the owner's manual, and receipts. First, we're gonna do the revealing of the board. Wow, look how nice it is. So let's take a closer look at the board. So it's 42 inches in length, 16 inches in width. It has a max load of 315 pounds. The board itself is about 29 pounds. Now for the battery, it has 706 watt hours, 12S4P, P42A Molicel batteries. They claim 16 to 22 miles range, and they claim up to 45 miles per hour. Now let's talk about the trucks. These are Hypertrucks Light. The front bushings are white 70A, and the rear is green 80A. As for the motors, 190 kV, 6374. They're utilizing 8-inch tires with MBS hubs. This is the charging port, and this is the power button. During the unboxing, we forgot to show this cool hat that they give you. Super nice and super cool once you're riding. Let's charge this bad boy up and let's take it out for a ride.
Hillstein.
Okay guys, I'm going to do this review quite different than all my other reviews. I'm going to start off with the good and then the bad, and it's going to go over everything. Let's start off with the good. The price. Pricing at $18.99 is a very good buy for this board. The reason why is the polish and the finish on this board is fantastic. They got a lot of cool graphics on here with the astronaut skull, and they also have on the right corner made in Montreal, Canada, which is really cool. Even the entire bottom half of the board is incredibly well put together. The enclosure, the trucks, the wires, the motors, everything is just pristine with this board. The charging port on this is super high quality. The clip is very convenient and very secure, and also the charging cover doesn't come off while you're riding. Also, I think the charger is a perfect size for this board. Also has a built-in fan. As for this board's off-roading capabilities, it's fantastic. I can ride over anything with these big 8-inch tires, and since the deck is so wide, it's very easy to just run over anything I want. As for everyday bad roads, same thing. The board will easily go over all the rocks, the pebbles, the cracks, basically all the bad terrain we ride through every single day when we ride our boards. As for carvability, I read online some people were thinking that this board might not carve too well, but it actually does. It's lots of fun to carve. Here's some footage to show you. Cool. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 3. Cool. Now the mid-range power on this thing is phenomenal. After about 30 or 40 feet, this thing takes off. Now for the bad. Now some of this bad is just straight up facts and results, and some of the things that I think are negative that are just worth mentioning to you. 1, 2, 3, go. And go. 1, 2, 3, go. Alright, so he's in mode 3, which is the second highest level, and I'm in mode 2, which is my second highest level. 1, 2, 3, go. Full throttle. Bye. Alright, 1, 2, 3, go. Alright, very big hill test. La Croix Barrel onboard Zeus. Very, very big hill. I know it's hard to see on camera, but it's long and it's very steep. 1, 2, 3, go. Alright, 1, 2, 3, go. You start pushing this, doesn't go anywhere until like halfway through, then it starts going. I feel like I'm halfway already through. Now I know some of you are thinking, just changing the Stormcore app. Well, actually with the Stormcore app, you cannot change it because they haven't perfected the app yet to change your throttle curve. Now, some other people are going to say change it to the VESC. Now you could change up the power in the VESC, and you could also change the throttle curve in the VESC. I get that. First and foremost, I don't want to do that. That's kind of the point of buying a production board instead of making a DIY board myself. I don't want to go in the internals of the electronic components and switch things up. I just don't. I want a well-balanced board. What I mean about well-balanced board is a good amount of speed, a good amount of power, a good amount of range, and a good amount of quality / polish. Just like the Meepo Hurricane, the B1 Titan X, the onboard Zeus, and the Evolve Hayden. Those all have great range, great power, great speed, and great quality. Now, even if I wanted to go inside the apps and turn up the amps and increase the power on the board, you will sacrifice range. So again, to me, it's all about balance. All those boards I just mentioned that are 2-in-1 have better acceleration and got better range than the Lacroix barrel. Move on to their bushings. These are Riptide bushings that they utilize with their boards, and I'm just a little bit uneducated here, so this is something that's worth mentioning. Now the board comes stock green 80A in the rear and up front white 70A. The durometers I'm normally used to are somewhere around the 90 to 96A durometer. So whatever they are giving us, it's incredibly soft. Now, I don't know if it's made from the same compound or not, but I feel like the board's bushings are way too soft. I think the softest I have ever tried on a regular board is 84 or 87A, and it was ridiculously too soft. Lacroix, being a boutique company, should give you all the actual durometers for you to dial into the board the way you want. Now, this brings me to my next point about the short wheelbase. I'm going to measure from here to here, because you're not really going to put your feet up on the edges right here that slope up. So this spot where you can really put your feet, and 25 inches. I mean, that's just kind of crazy. It's just such a small wheelbase. So when you want to ride fast, you open up your stance, right? So when you open up your stance, you're hitting the edges right here that the wall goes up. Same thing back here. Your foot's going to go there. So when I start putting my foot up against that, it feels even more unstable for me. And then not only that, I might hit the tire too. And I don't even have big feet. Shoe size 9. So I think that's a flaw. And again, I don't actually have a wide stance. I normally ride like about that. But there's a lot of people that like to have a wide stance. Now here's a comparison of what it looks like next to the Hadian and the onboard Zeus Pro. I think if they went with a longer wheelbase, I think the board would be much more sturdier. And I think if they gave multiple bushing durometers with the customers, that would make this board a whole lot better. Now, some of you may know I have a lot of different boards. They're all different setups. So when I hop on one board to the other, it takes me about 5 minutes to get used to it, and that can hit really high speeds. I'm not a really high speed rider, but I am capable of doing it. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible to reach that 40 mile per hour mark with this board, but it will be very tough. It will require a lot of practice. I have no problem doing. In fact, I enjoy practicing. But on the other hand, I have yet to see anybody with the Lacroix barrel reach over 40 miles per hour. It's just something that's very different from what I'm used to, being the wheelbase is so short. A lot of riders, such as myself, wouldn't normally go over 40 miles per hour. Instead, they would want more initial power off the line in that first 20 to 30, 40 feet. Here's a size comparison of the trucks compared to the Zeus Pro. And as you guys probably know, the Zeus Pro has great stability. So with these Hypertrucks quote lights, even though they're a tad bit smaller than what they're normally using on their Nazar and their Lone Star Super Sport, I still think they're just too wide for this board. When you have too wide of trucks, you will sacrifice your turning radius. Now, a couple things worth mentioning that I think is a little bit of a negative. These nuts that are on the wheels are 19 millimeters big, so your regular T-tool won't work. Also, none of these tires came with any valve caps. Why did they not put any simple valve caps, and why did they not give you a tool to change your tire? Speaking of these giant tires, I think they're way too big for this board. 8 inches just looks kind of silly, looks like a monster truck, and it sacrifices even more power where this board really lacks. As for the Hoyt Puck, I'm sorry, this is just my personal input. Just don't get the hype to this remote. Now, I know it's known to have no cutout issues, but I've never had any cutout issues with any of my remotes ever. If anything cut out on me, it was because of malfunction with the board, not the actual signal with the remote. So why can't they make a data screen showing your mile per hour, your trip, and other configurations rather than just buttons and illumination lights? I'm also quite shocked that they're actually still using micro USB. Also, what's with the Made in China sticker on the back? I thought Hoyt made everything in the USA. Also, just in my personal opinion, the Hoyt Puck is just very uncomfortable to hold. The bottom of your pinky just kind of hangs underneath the puck. It's much more bulkier to hold than all the other remotes, and it's just not that comfortable. Now, I like the route Lacroix was going with this. Usually when you buy a specialty item, companies stamp some type of information inside the product to signify its model code and sometimes some additional information. With Lacroix being a boutique company and all, I thought they would have done much better than just a sticker, taking a pen and writing down that information on the sticker. Now, you know sometimes when you got to put your foot underneath the board to turn it? This is a 12S setup. Nothing crazy big, right? It is a lot chunkier than the onboard Zeus, and that's a 13S setup. Now, I wouldn't say picking up the LaCroix is a very difficult task. I'm just telling you that since the enclosure and the deck are so wide, it's not simple to carry. This is only a 12S setup, and look how thick it is. It's not really comfortable holding it in your hands, especially how wide it is. Now here's the onboard Zeus again. Much easier to pick up, much easier to carry. It's a much slimmer style board, and it has a bigger battery pack. It's way more comfortable in the hands, and it's just easy to carry. Now, I'm a bit uneducated when it comes to the enclosure bolts. These rubber washers just seem to be deteriorating, and this is the first day I got the board. As you can see, they just seem to be falling apart. And again, this is the very first day I got the board.
Ooh, these motors are hot.
So this is the part that really annoyed me and really got to me the most. The website says units first ship out on the 3rd week of July. I ordered this board the very first day it came out. They didn't ship it out until August 5th. They had many excuses prior to before shipping. All that doesn't matter to me. At least send me an email and keep me in the loop. That didn't happen.
Here we go on the StormCore app. We got 22% left in the battery, and I want to show you what it tops off at. So hopefully you guys can see this, because it's hard to hold everything. I'm gonna do full throttle. I'm at full throttle. Miles per hour, 22, 23, full throttle, 23 miles per hour. And you can see the battery deplete, but that's normal because it has real-time voltage. 8% battery, probably doing 5 or 6 mile per hour, maybe 7. Jesus. Still in custom mode, 5% left on a 2-year-old board. Still doing 19 miles per hour. It won't take me up the hill.
So this is footage right after me saying at 8% it was only doing 6 miles per hour. So this is a very, very small hill. The board can't get up it with me on it. As for range, I'm about a 145-pound rider, and the temperature was about 85 degrees outside. I got 20.7 miles of range, so their estimated miles on their website is pretty accurate. As for top speed, I reached 32 miles per hour, but this board can definitely go faster. Final thoughts. Now, I know some of you may think that I'm trying to beat this board up. I am not. Trust me, there's no point of me spending $1,900 and not fully enjoying the product. This board is super, super nice. It carves awesome. It's got great power after about 30, 40 feet or so. I just don't understand why they just didn't do an overall well-balanced like the other 2-in-1 boards that I mentioned prior. So yes, I would absolutely choose the Evolve Hadean, the B1 Titan X, the onboard Zeus, and the Meepo Hurricane all day over this board. Me telling you my personal preference and showing you my actual experience is just what the channel is all about. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna bend the truth, and most of all, you get to actually see the results. What you choose to do with the results and the information is up to you. I just think if it had more power without sacrificing the range and a little bit of a longer wheelbase, the board would be perfect. Thank you for watching, guys. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. Have a good one, guys.